Good day, this is our latest video update on two typhoons. You have Tembin and Bolaven. This very busy Thursday afternoon, so you watch Typhoon Tembin nearing the east coast of Taiwan, and also we have Typhoon Bolaven entering the Philippine. Air responsibility continues to intensify and could later head towards Okinawa and the rest of the Japanese islands. You are looking here at the Western Pacific infrared image, and if we play the animation here, you can see the movements of these two systems. We have, of course, Tembin has intensified. You can see that eye has begun to clear out again, and also we have Bolaven, that immense, very big cyclone actually compared to Tembin here. And you can also see the distance of these two systems now decreasing. They are now less than 1,300 kilometers apart. So could definitely see some Fujiwhara effect in between these two systems in the next few days. Meanwhile, you can also see Bolaven's pool in the southwest monsoon. You can see lots of moisture here on the southern side of the system. Could enhance the southwest monsoon in the next 24 to 48 hours, especially now that it has entered inside the Philippine air responsibility, moving closer in relation to the Philippines. Still not expected to make landfall in the Philippines, but could pose a threat, a very significant threat towards Okinawa, as we'll discuss later in this update. But first, we'll talk about Typhoon Tembin, or Bagyong Igme. It continues to move slowly westward into Taiwan. You can see last located approximately 320 kilometers southeast of Taipei. Maximum sustained winds are at 140 kilometers per hour with gusts of up to 195 according to JMA. In my honest opinion, I do think this system is much more powerful than that. JTWC has actually intensified the system to a category 3 typhoon with winds of up to 195 kilometers per hour. So some very big difference between JMA and JTWC, but nevertheless, this satellite image shows you how strong this system has gotten since we last looked at it yesterday afternoon. Now the central dense overcast looks much more symmetrical. We also have an improved poleward and equatorward outflow. The wind shear has weakened, and also again you can see that I'm much more better now on the visible image. And you can also see in this microwave image confirming the eye wall remains well intact and very significant banding, especially across the southern and northern side of the system. And with that, we have warnings from the forecast agencies here in the region. We have Pegasus public storm signal warning number 2 now in effect for Batanes group of islands, and they have also raised signal number 1 for Calayan and Babuyan group of islands, as they expect the wind field from Tembin to impact these islands here in extreme northern Luzon, along with rough waves and squally rain showers. Now, as for the Central Weather Bureau here in Taiwan, they've raised sea and land typhoon warning for almost the entire island, and also extremely heavy rain warnings covering the entire this warning page from Central Weather Bureau. Again, this red box lines basically indicating the typhoon warnings, and you can see only the Taoyuan County and the New Taipei City and the Taipei City counties are not under typhoon warnings. Nevertheless, the entire island is in some sort of extremely heavy rain advisory, only differing in intensity. Some are only heavy rain only, and some are under extremely torrential rain, especially here in the counties of Hualien and Taitung, where the mountainous regions are located. And as the system nears the inflow, expect more rains to fall in this region as the orographic effects take toll on the amount of rain being produced by Tembin. And also make note that the system is currently moving very slow, around 10 kilometers per hour. So once it gets into Taiwan, probably take about 12 hours to cross this island. So very big threat, not only in terms of the winds but also for some heavy rain. The JMA has also issued high waves warning for its islands, the Miyako and Yaeyama Islands here in the Sakushima stations here are reporting winds of around 40 kilometers per hour with gusts of up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. So going back to the satellite image, these are the islands that we're talking about. So even though they are 100 kilometers or so away from the center, they are starting to experience some increasing winds, and likely for the east coast of Taiwan also actually reporting winds around 50 kilometers per hour and gradually increasing during the day. Now going back to the infrared image and just showing you how improved the system has gotten in the past 12 hours. The eye has cleared out. See that a deep convective ring surrounding the eye, very symmetrical central dense overcast, which is now starting to impact the eastern coast of Taiwan, and also some very cold cloud tops. And in fact, the remember the system still has about 12 hours to go, and the JTWC is still expecting this to actually intensify to a Category 4 typhoon before making landfall. Now this is the latest radar image from Central Weather Bureau, again showing you the eye of the system. Menacing look here as it moves westward. You can also see that outer rain bands now starting to affect central, eastern and southern portions of Taiwan. These rains could bring up to 50 millimeters tonight, and could even bring up to 100 millimeters across the mountainous areas here in Taitung and Hualien County. Now the system is located approximately 180 kilometers east of the city of Taitung, and if it continues to move westward here, city of Taitung and also a small town here, Chenggong, could be in for some very strong typhoon force winds of probably up to 160 kilometers per hour tonight and into tomorrow. In fact, our affiliate James Reynolds is in Chenggong as he tries to intercept Typhoon Tembin. You can head on to his website typhoonfury.com for the latest updates and also videos. Pretty sure you're going to get some very good footage out in that area probably tomorrow. So we move on to the forecast for Tembin. And again, the system is expected to continue moving slowly, very slowly westward, moving at 10 kilometers per hour. So at this pace, it could make landfall tomorrow morning, Friday at around 3 or 6 a.m. here in Taitung County, again near the city of Taitung, as a very strong Category 3 or even a Category 4 as per JTWC. So areas along the coast of Taitung and even into Hualien will be in for some Category 1 to Category 3 typhoon force, and also some very heavy rains and rough waves all across this region. Now you can see the consensus from the forecasting agencies now taking Tembin to a U-turn. Now most of them are now expecting a very significant Fujiwhara effect with an approaching Typhoon Bolaven moving towards Okinawa by this weekend. So it could influence Tembin to make a U-turn and could perhaps pose another threat to Taiwan by Sunday, unfortunately. So as it moves and weakens to a Category 1 typhoon, could likely be pulled by Bolaven. And you can also see in this latest tracks from the computer models, again the consensus now takes Tembin on a U-turn back to the northeast and could perhaps approach the southern side of Taiwan. By this time it will have weakened to a tropical storm. So in terms of winds, not really that worried in terms of another effects, but still threat of heavy rains, not only here in Taiwan but actually also the islands here north of Luzon here in the Philippines could experience rain showers by Saturday or Sunday if it does be influenced by Bolaven. JMA is actually less enthused with the idea of Fujiwhara effect, although they are slowing down Tembin significantly once it exits Taiwan. You can see the forecast here staying in this region right around the South China Sea or the West Philippine Sea for nearly 4 days, just meandering in this area as a tropical storm. So even though it is weakening by this time, it could still pull in some very heavy rains across Taiwan and even into parts of Batanes group of islands and even perhaps into Luzon by this weekend. So something to watch there as well. But for now, we continue to watch the threat of a landfall within 12 to 18 hours here in eastern Taiwan, particularly in the county of Taitung. That's where the eye will eventually pass, and so areas also north into Hualien should watch out for very strong winds and also heavy rains all across Taiwan in the next 2 to 3 days. Now we move on to the other system we're watching. We have Typhoon Bolaven, now moving inside the Philippine area of responsibility, last located approximately 1,080 kilometers southeast of Okinawa. Maximum sustained winds have intensified, have increased to 140 kilometers per hour with gusts of up to 195 from JMA. JTWC has also intensified this to a Category 3 typhoon, so some discrepancies with the forecasting agencies. Nevertheless, system looks menacing as well. It looks much more massive compared to Tembin here, probably even twice the size of Tembin based on the satellite image. You can also see some very expansive equatorward outflow, and also that, as I said, that pull on the southwest monsoon. Very threatening look for the Philippines as well, even though it is not forecast to make landfall there. As it moves slowly west-northwest, we'd expect that southwest monsoon to begin to be enhanced within the next 2 days. So eventually we could see some rains across the western portions of Luzon and even into Visayas, indirectly enhanced by Bolaven. The system is currently moving west-northwestward at 10 kilometers per hour and could near the islands here in Okinawa within 2 to 3 days. Now you can see in this infrared image, we are starting to see some warming cloud tops in this region, in this area, which could indicate that the eye is starting to come out, starting to pop out in the satellite image. Nevertheless, we are still seeing some very cold cloud tops, still very strong convective activity. And if you've watched our video yesterday, we were saying that this strong activity has been persisting for nearly 2 days. So very long-lived convection, strong convective activity around the center. The equatorward outflow, again, as I said, remains very good, although we haven't seen that polarward outflow get better just yet. Although, again, the system will remain in an area of very favorable conditions, so still expect this to intensify in the next 2 days. In fact, JTWC also calling for this system to become a Category 4 once it makes landfall here in Okinawa. We also have here the microwave image taken roughly an hour ago, actually an hour and a half ago, and showing you the eye wall of the system becoming much more established with very intense convection going on right on the northeastern side of the system. And you can also see the eye of the system compared to Tembin is much more bigger in the eye wall. This microwave image, you could start probably seeing the eye appear in the satellite perhaps tonight or into tomorrow, depending on the rate of intensification of the system. And again, the system is forecast to move west-northwestward inside the Philippine area of responsibility, so it will probably be given the local name Bagyong Hualien or Julian by Pag-asa later this afternoon. We'll continue to monitor that for you. Now, the forecast tracks from the agencies have shifted to the north and are now closely aligned with the computer models. And you can see here this purple line signifies the JTWC forecast, and they are now taking this system directly across Okinawa by Sunday morning as a Category 4 typhoon with winds of up to 215 to even 220 kilometers per hour sustained winds. Now JMA, on the other hand, has also shifted their track northward, but still forecasting a track just south of Okinawa. But still, even at this forecast track, we're still expecting very strong typhoon force winds to impact Okinawa by Sunday morning. Now, as you can also see in this 5-day forecast from JMA, they are eventually going to take Bolaven across South Korea and even into North Korea, so something to watch there as well. But it's all for right now. This very busy Thursday. Fortunately, we did take a lot of time in this video, just giving you the in-depth analysis and also forecasts on these 2 typhoons. Again, if you are in Taiwan, please prepare now. Always heed and follow the official forecast and warnings from your local officials and the country's weather bureau here with Central Weather Bureau. And also for Okinawa, start preparing now and closely monitor the developments of Bolaven, as it could pose a threat in the islands by this weekend. Stay safe, guys. Bye-bye.